You are Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? Welcome to your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, wherever you get your podcasts on audio, and of course right here on YouTube, Locked On Sports Miami. My name is Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. And I'm all pumped up. I'll tell you what, we were here a couple of days ago, and Uncle Mo started building a little bit for the Miami Marlins. The momentum with that walk-off win in 10 innings in the series opener against Colorado. And now they finish it the same way. They walk it off in 10. Their first three-game sweep of the season. They had not won 2 games in a row this year before this series, and now they are out of the National League basement. They've won 3 games in a row, 5-4 in 10 innings, giving the home fans a thrill to finish off this series and pack that momentum on a plane, head to Oakland to face the A's for a 3-game series, and then the Dodgers after that. And we are pumped, man. This is a great, great time for the Marlins fans. Been a tough year for the Marlins, obviously, without a doubt. It's your Marlins, Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, and I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. It's brought to you by Monopoly Go. Game off. We got to talk more about Monopoly Go. This fast-paced game lets you team up with friends for tournaments to unlock awesome prizes like unique stickers for trading, cool playing pieces, and hilarious emojis for taunting your friends. Who doesn't want to taunt your friends, right? So download Monopoly Go now, free on Google Play or the App Store. Monopoly Go, game on, and it's show on right now. Your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, and I want to thank you right now for making Locked On Marlins and your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST your first listen every day. We're free. We're available wherever you get your podcasts on YouTube. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On. And like I said, I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. My name takes up 3/4 of the screen down there. But, man, look at that. You see that screen behind me? Sweep. And look at the face of Jesus Sanchez. Look at him. He's hitting the ball there on your left and then on your right. Obviously, you're looking at his celebration from scoring the winning run or driving in the winning run in this game. This is a guy who just a few days ago was benched by Skip Schumacher for lack of effort, for not giving 100%. This is a supremely talented young man, and he found himself on the pine, from the pine to the shine, baby, for Jesus Sanchez with a big opposite field, crushed it down there. You have a lot of things going right now for the Miami Marlins. They hadn't won 2 in a row all year. They now have their first sweep of the season, and they are out of the basement in the National League, a distinction that now belongs to the Colorado Rockies, who with this loss have dropped 5 in a row, and now the Colorado Rockies 2 wins below the Marlins. They each have 24 losses, but the Marlins are up a full game because the Rockies are down 2, as Joe Angel used to say, in the win column. And so when I think about what the Marlins just did, it's not about the standings as much. They still haven't won their 10th game, and they'll go for that tomorrow night in Oakland. And Ryan Weathers, who had pitched a really good couple of innings last time out before his control deserted him, some hit batsmen's walks against the Washington Nationals. But moving forward for Miami, huge momentum right now. And I talked about the momentum after that game. And usually in baseball, they say momentum is only as good as the next day's starting pitcher. But in this case, when your offense starts to get hot, and the Rockies don't have that guy, there's no one who can look in the mirror in the Rockies clubhouse who picks up a ball every 5 days who can say, I'm him, right? No, nobody's him on that team. You wouldn't be 7-24 if you had anybody who was him at this point. So the Marlins are able to get that offense going. They got the walk-off a couple of days ago. They get the walk-off today. It was Dane Myers before that, and now it's Jesus Sanchez, and it's all coming around full circle for the Marlins. You had Jake Berger doing a rehab game in AAA, so he's going to be coming back, and I'm really excited to see how this moves forward for the Marlins. Just keep that momentum going, right? Keep that momentum going and keep everything moving in the right direction. 2 of the 3 wins in the series were in the 10th inning, and Luis Arraez really starting to hit. He had 2 hits, 2 runs scored for the Marlins today. Josh Bell crushed a home run to tie the game in the 4th inning. And remember, the Marlins got 2 in the first. Sanchez had a sac fly as well. Arraez scoring 2 runs, and it just really is. Birch Smith got the win pitching the 10th inning. The Rockies are the first team. Are you ready for this? The first team since 1900 to have trailed it at least once in each of their first 31 games since 1900. I mean, that's when the New York Highlanders, led by Jack Chesbro, winning 41 games. Yeah, I can go there. That's a long time ago. Nick Fortis hit an RBI single for the Marlins. They took a 4-3 lead in the fourth inning. The Rockies tied it in the fifth. And, of course, Jacob Stallings hit the 3-run bomb for Colorado to put them up 3-2. Before that, Chisholm Jr. had an RBI single for the Marlins. They chased Peter Lambert. Jesus Luzardo, the Marlins left-hander, threw a bullpen session Thursday. Braxton Garrett completed 5 scoreless innings of one-hit ball at AAA Jacksonville on Wednesday. So Braxton Garrett going to be big when they get him back as well. And then Jake Berger went 1 for 4 in a similar rehab appearance with Jacksonville yesterday. Remember, he led the team in RBIs for the longest time, while being out for 10 games, basically. So the Marlins are going to go with Ryan Weathers, it looks like, in the opener at Oakland, and that's going to be something with, he's got all the talent in the world. Get him going and get him pitching well. But you get the momentum with the offense, and of course they won that game yesterday, and we didn't have a show yesterday because of the Miami Heat and then their season-ending loss to the Boston Celtics. But, you know, you had the back-to-back RBIs in the fifth inning yesterday, the Marlins with the 4-1 win, and, you know, you're just starting to feel it. You're starting to feel a little bit more from this team. And there's different guys every day who are doing it. And, you know, Munoz gave you a really good start yesterday. So many good young arms in this organization and with this team. I think they're going to be all right. Look, is it going to be a great year? Probably not at this point, but you're going to have some things that you're going to find to build upon. Young team, still discovering who they are and who they have. Dane Myers earned another start today after the series that he's had. So when you start to hit the ball the way that they're hitting it, you start to get that confidence going a little bit. You see these guys, these kids running around after the game on the field, throwing water everywhere, splashing on each other, having a great time winning games, the Miami Marlins. And that was a hell of a win for them today against the Rockies. And when you think about the way that they're hitting the ball right now, I mean, in this game today, you had Arraez with 2 more hits. He's got his average all the way up to 299. A couple of weeks ago, he was in the 250s. He's at 299, and he's really starting to pick it up. 2 hits, 2 runs scored at the top of the lineup today for the Marlins. Brian De La Cruz had another hit, another run scored. He did strike out twice. He's at 261. Remember, he was toying and flirting with 400 last year at the All-Star break. So Chisholm had another hit today. He's at 229. Bell's at 185. Maybe that homer will help him snap out of it. But those averages have been way down for the Marlins. And Jesus Sanchez got it done today. And look, I told you, he was benched a couple of games ago. He was benched a couple of days ago for lack of effort. And they love this kid. He's a great kid. They love him in the clubhouse. And you just hope that he will, you know, continue. And with young players, so much. And, you know, the veterans can kind of tune things out day in and day out. Just get in there and grind and do the work. But the young players play a lot more on emotion. And they almost don't know better. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see what this does for the Marlins, the momentum and where it takes them. They got some key hits, some timely hits in this series when they really needed it. Those hits that we have been talking about for days on the show, right? The hits that break open innings, the hits that give you the lead, the hits that move runners over. And they pitched out of a couple of big jams tonight. The bullpen gave you 6 innings of scoreless ball. 5 pitchers, 6 innings of scoreless ball. And that's a huge, huge win for the Marlins. Remember, they had 4 guys on the DL who accounted for 47% of their innings a year ago. So they need that bullpen right now to step up. And Cabrera in 4 innings gave up 4 runs. He didn't have his best stuff today. I love his stuff, by the way, for the future, man. This kid's going to be something else. So we'll see that. But the pitching's been there. The hitting's been coming around. The base running, they've been smarter on the bases, haven't been running themselves into outs the way that they were. So there are all sorts of things going on with this team that you have to feel really good about right now. And after the series sweep against the Nationals, in which they just looked terrible and they fell further down into the standings, just not a good thing for them. But if they can get Bell going and they can get Berger back, oh, man, this offense can go on a tear. And look, the A's, you know, nothing special. What are the A's going to do? You know what I'm saying? Besides complain about Oakland and move to Las Vegas. What are they going to do? You know, so the A's are really obviously not a very good team. They're 15-17, couple of games under 500. They're ahead of the Angels, who are 11-20. And poor Mike Trout, man. Now he doesn't have Shohei. The Astros, the feel-good story of the year at 10-20. Yeah, I said it. The feel-good story of the year. The rotten, stinking, cheating Astros. The feel-good story of the year. Struggling with only 10 wins. So the A's, good chance for the Marlins to keep some momentum going. Maybe grab 2 out of 3 there. And then you're going to face the Dodgers, they're tied for the most wins in baseball with the Orioles and the Yankees, who are wrapping up their 4-game series today. The Guardians, who also have 20 wins. So basically you have the Orioles, the Yankees, the Guardians, the Braves, and the Dodgers with 20 wins. The Brewers and Cubs with 19. And oh, look at that. You got the Phillies with 21. They're in second place because they have 21 wins to the Braves 20, but 11 losses to the Braves 9. So they're a half game out in that National League Eastern Division. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast wherever you listen to your podcast. I'm talking, Spotify, Apple Music, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, wherever you get your podcast. And of course, right here, Locked On Sports Miami. Still to come here on the show. Going back to Cali. What can the Marlins do to keep the momentum going? What can they do? They take it on a plane, you pack it in the suitcase, all the superstitions that baseball players have. What will they do to keep the momentum going? On the other side, you are watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. Oh, baby, look at the production skills right there. We are moving right along. You see that, Sam? Sam Ekstrom, our boss here, the executive producer of the Locked On Postcast, the new initiative that is taking over the world from Locked On this summer. Speaking of taking over the world, it's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150. That's $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet at FanDuel. Bet 5, win $150. There you go, $155 for all you brain surgeons and math majors out there. $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon, FanDuel.com/lockedon, and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Also, have to tell you about our friends at Monopoly Go. It's a craze. It's taking over the world. Monopoly Go is such a fun game. The game's over with the Marlins. They got the sweep. So let's talk about another game, Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. You already talked about that, but there's just so much good stuff in this game. Let me give you a little bit more on Monopoly Go. You can team up with friends for time tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. And there's so much more to get. Unique stickers you can trade with your friends to complete albums for big prizes. Cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with. Hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Remember, you got the Vegas Strip. You got Camelot. You can get the most famous buildings in the world in Monopoly Go. It feels new and exciting every day, constantly changing tournaments, challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games, which I love, digging for treasures or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go download it now free on Google Play or the App Store. Monopoly Go. Game on, baby. Oh, yeah, there we go. A quick question for you. If you're watching Fox Sports, ESPN, you're kind of maybe a little tired of some screaming, but you maybe want a little bit difference in your life, something just a little bit different, or maybe a lot different from what you're used to, a new place to get your sports news. Well, how about this? How about Locked On Sports Today? Give us a try. It's free. It's 24/7. It's a sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. And the screaming can get annoying after a while. Let's be honest. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. How about that? Moving it on with your Locked On Marlins postcast on your Thursday. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease, and a sweep for the Marlins. The Fish sweeping the Colorado Rockies. They're now 9-24. The Rockies fall to 7-24. The Astros have 10 wins. The Marlins catch them this weekend. Just keep pushing those cheating Astros down in the standings. Once a cheater, always a cheater. You never heard that one before. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm talking about with this team. So when I think about the Marlins right now, getting on that plane, packing the momentum, and a lot of smiles right now for Miami, and I'm not sure what time that plane departs for Oakland, when it leaves, and you always want to get there the day before, so I'm sure it's going to leave very soon. But I've been with professional baseball teams. I've traveled with them, covered them for years, major leagues, minor leagues, and I can tell you, baseball players are the most superstitious athletes. So whatever they've been doing for the last couple of days as they've been winning, for example, guys eat the same thing every day, or they shave their beard a certain way every single day before the game. Whatever it is that they've been doing to win these games, they're going to keep that up with the superstitions. And they head to Oakland now. So can you pack momentum in a suitcase? It's the age-old question in sports. I've always believed you can. You pack that momentum in the suitcase. These young kids, they're smiling, they're happy, they're upbeat. Look, I'm a big believer in the powers of the universe anyway, right? We get what we put out there. Our energy brings us back more energy. And there is a lot of positive energy on that plane with the Marlins headed to Oakland, and they are looking to keep this momentum going. It had been a miserable year so far. They had not won back-to-back games all season, and they sweep the Colorado Rockies. The bookend, game 1 and game 3, both in the 10th inning on walk-offs. Sanchez, who comes from the pine to the shine, overcomes that benching a couple of days ago, comes out strong and gets it done for the Marlins today. A couple of RBIs, sacrifice fly in the first, and then the game-winning bullet down the line to seal the deal in the bottom of the 10th inning. So I'm really pumped to see what they do with all this momentum. And I want to see what Ryan Weathers does, man. Ryan Weathers was not good his last time out. He was very sharp in the top of the first against Washington, but then the Marlins scored 6 runs in the bottom of the first inning in that first game against the Nationals. But before the end of the game, obviously they lost, but Weathers, with that 6 runs they scored in the bottom of the first, he sat for a long time. We talked about how long you warm up, you throw all those pitches, then you go out there and you pitch the first. Your arm is more live in the first inning than it is all night as a starting pitcher. And then you have to sit and cool it right off. Really bad for the arm, really bad for the psyche, really bad for the starter. And he hit I think he hit 3 batters and walked 3 in the next couple of innings before getting ripped. And it's a big start for him. You want to keep that momentum going. Any Marlins pitcher who steps on that rubber right now to start a game, any pitcher who steps on that rubber to start a game right now feels it. I need to be the guy to keep this going. Yeah, the offense is going well. Yeah, they're hitting. Yeah, they're starting to get those timely knocks, and they're starting to knock in those runs, and the averages are coming up, right? But you're a pitcher. You're not thinking about that. You're thinking, what am I going to do? I'm going to go down there, shove it up their butts, and I am going to keep this thing going myself. And that's the position that Ryan Weathers finds himself in right now. And I think it's a great position to be in. And I'm really excited to see how he handles it. And I'm excited to see what they do this weekend in Oaktown. The A's are really not even a Major League Baseball team. You know, you see things in sports and sometimes you shake your head, right? Like the Arizona Coyotes, right? Playing in a college hockey rink for a couple of years before they leave to go to Utah. And it's the same with the A's. They're a lame duck if there's ever been a lame duck. They're talking about playing in a minor league stadium in Sacramento for a couple of years. All sorts of things that have been happening with the Oakland A's. And it's a shame for Major League Baseball. It's a shame for what once was a great franchise with Joe Rudy and Reggie Jackson and Raleigh Fingers and Vida Blue and all those guys they had with the A's back in the 70s winning World Series. And then the Bash Bros, Canseco and McGuire with Henderson and Parker. The great Ricky Henderson. I meant Dave Henderson and Dave Parker. The great Ricky Henderson, Carney Lansford, Dave Stewart, my boy Bob Welch, R.I.P. Welchie, one of the best friends I had in the game. And yeah, the A's with a storied history, right? The Giambis, Miguel Tejada, all those years in the playoffs with the Yankees, and Hudson and Mulder, and who was the third one there? Hudson, Mulder, and Barry Zito, all those guys. So yeah, a lot of history in Oakland, and that's going to be gone. They're going to go to Las Vegas. They just closed the Tropicana. The Rat Pack used to play there and hang out there. They just closed the Tropicana in Vegas to build a dope new stadium for the A's, but it seems like Vegas doesn't want them. And would you? Honestly speaking, no. The Warriors left that pit. You know what I'm saying? Oakland's a dump. No one wants to be in Oakland. Why would anybody want to be in Oakland? But that's just a question that I would have to ask, and I'm just endearing myself to all sorts of people right now. I can tell you're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast on your Locked On Sports Miami YouTube channel. Give us a subscribe, hit that notifications, and let's go, baby. Make us your first stop every day. It's free. It's your Locked On Marlins postcast. And you also have your Locked On Marlins day in and day out with Peter. You want to make sure you watch both of these and just keep it coming. Wrapping it up in just a minute. We'll talk more about the road trip coming up. We'll talk more about what the Marlins need to do to keep this momentum going. And we will talk more about the guys they have coming back soon. The reinforcements are coming. The MASH unit is healing. And the Marlins are on a 3-game win streak. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. And I am just really excited to talk to you about Prize Picks, right? I want to say that spring training is a rear view mirror. It's a long time ago now, right? You're in full swing of the Major League Baseball season. The Marlins finally won 3 in a row. They finally got a sweep. Well, now you get your chance to sweep. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Picks entries, right? Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less and add them to your Prize Picks entry today. And it's really fun. I'm talking about America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action. While you watch your favorite sports and players, you just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. More or less strikeouts, more or less RBIs, more or less first inning runs. When the Marlins had 6 the other day, you would have been a winner picking more. Prize Picks has something for every sports fan, from baseball to basketball to League of Legends and everything in between. You can pick LeBron. You can pick Shohei. You can pick Connor McDavid. You can pick Jude Bellingham, all in the same entry. How about that, man? It's the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Meek Mill's in there. Sugar Sean O'Malley, UFC bantamweight champ, is in there. Testing my skills on Prize Pick this baseball season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, turn 10 into 100, 100 into 1,000, just a few taps on Prize Picks. You get quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types. That's what makes Prize Picks the #1 fantasy sports app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, baby. America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. Make it 3,000,001. Rolling right along on your Locked On Marlins postcast. The Marlins beat the Colorado Rockies 5-4 in 10 innings. They knocked them off 4-1 yesterday. Took the opener in extra innings as well. So 2 10-inning bookend walk-off wins. The Marlins have won 3 in a row. I'm telling you what, sound the alarms, ring the bells, empty the houses, everyone in the streets. Let's party. 3 wins in a row for the first time this year for the Marlins. You got Weathers pitching tomorrow night in Oaktown. What's the best thing to come out of Oakland, man? The Warriors dynasty? What about the 70s Warriors that won a title? What about World Be Free? What about TMC, Run TMC with Richmond, Hardaway, and Mullen? What about all those A's teams that I told you about over the years? Those great Raiders teams. They actually have a tremendous sports legacy in Oakland, and no one's going to be there. The Raiders are long gone, right? The Warriors went to San Francisco, and now the A's are leaving too. A rich and tremendous sports legacy that has been completely thrown away by the people who live in Oakland. They let it all slip away. They don't go to the games. They're not good fans, and they have wasted a tremendous sports legacy in that city. And that's what I think of. It's sad. You know, and I'm a hip-hop guy, man. You got Too Short coming from there. MC Hammer came from there. Tupac lived in the Bay for a couple of years, but a tremendous sports legacy in Oaktown. It's all been flushed right down the toilet. 2 of the teams are about to be in Vegas, and the 3rd one is in San Francisco across the Bay. The only one left even in the Bay, but you got the Niners, obviously, over there, and the Giants. It's just a shame to see a great sports town go up in flames, and that's what's going to happen when the A's leave Oakland. But the Marlins here, nonetheless, are the story. They got the momentum. They're hopping on the plane. They're going to the West Coast, heading to Oakland against the A's. And then the Dodgers, man. The Dodgers are one of the best teams in baseball. I mean, you start thinking about the Dodgers, that's getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. But them and their deferred contracts, and they're signing the best players from overseas. Now they got Shohei Ohtani. Mookie Betts is looking at an MVP-type season already. You know, and just this team is just unreal. They can beat you in so many ways. Mookie Betts hitting 377 right now. Shohei's already got 25 homers. Mookie's got 25 RBIs. This team is really, really good. This just in. The Dodgers are really, really, really good. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what else to say about the Dodgers right now other than they are very, very good, and they are loaded. They can beat you with power. They can beat you with speed. They can manufacture runs. They got Yamamoto pitching 6 scoreless innings to beat the Dodgers or to lead the Dodgers over the Padres yesterday. Yamamoto's 3-1 after the $325 million 12-year deal he signed during the offseason. They brought Ohtani in to a team that already had the highest payroll and the highest luxury tax, correct me if I'm wrong, in Major League Baseball. So with Ohtani not pitching this year, can you imagine what it's going to be like when he does pitch next year? Good Lord in heaven, and good luck to everybody else against that team. And you know what? They'll choke in the postseason again. Playoff Kershaw will show up. They'll choke in the postseason again, and that'll be a lot of fun. That'll be a lot of fun to see. Because, I mean, look, everybody hated the Yankees for so long with the payroll, and the Dodgers are in that boat now. Yankees, Dodgers, Lakers, Cowboys. You love them or you hate them. Some people make careers off loving them and hating them, Stephen A. Smith. So that's what it is. And when you're looking at the A's, they're much improved. I mean, look, they're 15-17. Not a bad team. Oakland, they're not hitting the ball all that well. Their leading hitter is J.J. Bleday. He hits 238. They don't have home runs. They don't knock runs in. But their pitching's been good. Oakland's pitching's been good. So let's take a look at the A's a little bit as we wrap it up on your Locked On Marlins postcast. When you're looking at Oakland and, you know, their leading home run hitter is also their leading RBI guy, tied for the team lead with Brent Rooker, who's got 5 homers and 13 RBIs, is Shea Langoliers. He's got 6 homers and 13 runs driven in. It's more of a team effort for the A's. And taking a look at some of their offensive statistics, nothing really jumps out on paper. And then you look at their pitching, and, you know, their pitching's been pretty good. Not too shabby. I mean, Mitch Spence is 3-1, and he's had a pretty good year so far. And, you know, the Marlins will face J.P. Sears in the opener, and he's got a record of 1-2 in 2 starts, 33 innings pitched, 26 hits, 17 earned runs, 5 homers, 11 walks, and 24 strikeouts in 33 innings. A pretty good strikeout number. So he'll face Weathers in the opener of this series. And, you know, J.P. Sears, he's a guy, every pitcher for the most part, you got to get to him early. And the Marlins have been hitting the ball pretty well lately. So see if they can take that momentum. But in Sears' last game out, he got ripped in 6 1/3 innings, 8 hits and 7 earned runs, 3 home runs. He had 8 strikeouts, but gave up 3 home runs against Baltimore. Baltimore is brutal, man. They're killing it. Them and the Yankees just finishing up that series. And before that, he beat the Yankees 2-0. Shout out the Yankees. With that lineup, you're doing all right. So we'll see what he can do against Miami. When you look at the Marlins right now, I want to take a peek at who's hot for the Marlins right now, because that's something that, you know, going into this, you got Luis Arraez at the top of the order, swinging the best bat on the team right now. 2 more hits, 2 runs scored today. He's got the average all the way up to 299. And when you look at Luis, and he's a star player, and I like this kid. Really good contact hitter from Venezuela. He's only 27 years of age, 5'10", 175 pounds. But overall, he's projected this season to be at about 108 runs scored, 200 hits. That's pretty good. Right? He doesn't strike out a ton. You know what I mean? He hit 400 in the series against Colorado. He's 7 for 25 in his last week. And so you're hoping that he keeps the momentum going. Josh Bell hitting in the ones. You really hope he keeps it going, because he hit that home run today. Maybe that lights a flame under him. You have Berger, who did the rehab start and got a hit in AAA Jacksonville yesterday, coming back in the middle of that lineup. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Get him back in there. Rivera went hitless today after 2 hits and 2 RBIs yesterday in his place. But, you know, you got some bats starting to come around. De La Cruz has been swinging it pretty well lately. And Chisholm may be coming around. Drove in another run today. And then you get Berger back. You start to get more production from the middle of that lineup. And then once you do that, it's game on, baby. It is game on. So just to recap real quick finishing up your Locked On Marlins postcast. 5-4 in 10 innings. The Marlins beat the Rockies. They finished the 3-game sweep. They get out of the basement in the National League. They're now a game ahead of the Rockies in the win column, and they're right on the heels of the Houston Astros as they head out west. Going back. Which version of going back to Cali do you like better? LL or Biggie? Going back to Cali. I don't think so. Or going back to Cali. Either way, I like them both. But the point is the Marlins are heading there, and they're taking the 3-game win streak with them. Weathers and Sears tomorrow night, 9:40 Eastern. We will be here with your Locked On Marlins postcast right after the game. Until then, Marlins fans, I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease, and I want to thank you so much for being here, but I also want to remind you to always keep your game tight and your mind right, Fish fans. We are out.